सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अबद्धेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So, like I was saying, so fourth canto, 30th chapter, verse 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, like always, we take turns in reading this. The first verse I will read, and then we can start with reading of the shloka and the translation. So, if there are many volunteers, then each one can do one. So that is 4 into 2, that's around 8 devotees can either recite or they can do the translation. Hare Krishna. So the first verse, this particular thing is called as the chapter is a new chapter that we are beginning, 30th chapter. It is called as the activities of the Prachetas. So Vidura ye tvaya bhihita brahman sutaha prachina barhishaha te rudra gitena harim siddhim apuhu pratoshyakam. So this was the verse. Anybody wants to try? Please go ahead. You can see some hands up. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can read the verse. I mean, you can recite the verse. The translation somebody can do because I see many hands here.
Vidurauvacha ye dvaya bihita brahman sutha prachina barhishaha te rudragitena harim siddhima bhupratoshyakha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shobha Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Matajis and Prabhupajis. As a Nanak's translation, purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O Brahmana, you formerly spoke about the sons of Prachina Barhis and informed me that they satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting a song composed by Lord Shiva. What did they achieve in this way? Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. The next one.
Prabhuji, you want us to read the purport also?
No, only the verse. The next verse. 2.
Meenakshi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम।
Hare
किं
Krishna.
बार्हस्पत्येह परतरवात कैवल्यनाथ प्रियपार्श्ववर्तिनः आषाढ्य देवं गिरिशां यदृच्छया प्रापुः परं नूनम् अत प्रचेतसः।
Thank you, Mataji. So the next verse. I mean the meaning, sorry.
Archana Mataji, Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Sadhu. Pranam Sadhu. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Barhaspatya, what did the sons of King Barhishat, known as the Prachetas, obtain after meeting Lord Shiva, who is very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the bestower of liberation? Certainly they were transferred to the spiritual world. But apart from that, what did they obtain within this material world, either in this life or in other lives? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And then the verse number 3.
Hare Krishna. Maitreya Vacha Prachetaso Antar Udadau Pitur Adesha Karninaha Japayajnena Tapasa Puranjanam Atoshayan. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great sage Maitreya said, the sons of King Prachina Barhi, known as the Prachetas, underwent severe austerities within the sea water to carry out the order of their father. By chanting and repeating the mantras given by Lord Shiva, they were able to satisfy Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So we've got one more verse and translation. Anybody wants to do, they can take it up.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
May I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. दशवर्षसहस्रान्ते पुरुषस्तु सनातनः तेषामाविरभूत् कृच्छ्रं शान्तेन शमयं रुचा.
Thank you, Mataji. Sumangala Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandat pranams, Prabhuji. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. At the end of 10,000 years of 7 austerities performed by the Prachetas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead to reward their austerities appeared before them in His very pleasing form. This appealed to the Prachetas and satisfied the labor of their austerities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for all of you. So we'll get started with the Mangalachara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna. So I hope my voice is audible. You are able to hear. There is no problem, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So Vidura Uvacha, so this is the conversation, this particular chapter, which is titled The Activities of the Prachetas, is starting by Vidura asking some few questions here. So, ye tvaya bihita brahman sutah prachina barhishaha te rudra gitena harim siddhim apu pratoshyakam. So, here Vidura is actually asking the sage Maitreya, O Brahmana, you formally spoke about the sons of Prachina Barhi and informed me that they satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting a song composed by Lord Shiva. What did they achieve in this way? So he wants to hear more. So the very typical sign of a Vaishnava who wants to hear about the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, the glories of the Lord, the actions of the or the activities of the devotees of the Lord. So this is how Vidura wants to keep the conversation going. So he is asking about this. So here actually we know, I mean, the background is that, who are these Prachetas? They are the sons of Prachina Barhi. Who is Prachina Barhi? He is a descendant of Prithu Maharaj. And why is he important in the pages of the Bhagavatam? It is because of the allegorical tale, Narada visiting him. And because Narada visited him, he is remembered eternally because he was a very powerful king, and he was also actually doing a lot of sacrifices, yajnas he was doing, mostly animal sacrifices. And those sacrifices, he was doing it with the intention of sense enjoyment or material gain and so on and so forth. So he was not looking at it from a spiritual perspective. So he was bereft of the spiritual knowledge. And that is how then Narada Muni comes, and then he teaches him, or he guides him, or he enlightens him with respect to the soul, about the Atma Jnana. And then he talks about what is the actual aim of life. So that's a conversation that is continuing. And in this, this is being told by Maitreya to Vidura. So that's the background. So now, if you look at this particular verse, here we can see that how these prachetas, they went to a great lake. I mean, they come across a huge lake. I mean, they have been told by their father, Prachina Barhi, that they should get married and they should rule the kingdom. And then, that kind of instruction was given. So they, being very obedient to their father, they all agreed. And so to make themselves fit for Grahastha life as well as for ruling, then they go out for actually, they want to do some austerities and want to perfect themselves, their body and mind. They want to perfect it so that they will be able to carry out the duties that they are supposed to be doing as instructions coming from their father. So the prachetas, how many of them are there? There are 10 of them. There are 10 brothers together. The 10 sons of Prachina Barhi are together called as the prachetas. So now, when the prachetas they move out of the kingdom and they are moving towards the forest, or in the forest they are going, they come across this huge lake which is resembling an ocean. And then they see the surroundings, or the nature around it is so attractive. And there is a wonderful description of that given in the 24th chapter of the Bhagavatam, which you would have already covered. So we have done that. So there they see how the animals, the flora and the fauna around the lake is all so blissful, so very nice sounds, very nice sights, very pleasing to the eye, and everything is very calm. And then, there is no nothing rash or nothing aggressive is happening. So everything is very wonderful. So they like that place, that so much of serenity is there. So they actually decide to, as they were contemplating to remain there or to be there, they actually see, or they are benedicted by Lord Shiva to have his darshan as he is coming out of the waters of this huge lake. And then immediately when they see Lord Shiva, then they pay obeisances, they prostrate in front of him. And then that pleases Lord Shiva a lot. And then he also knows, he tells them that I know where you're headed. I know what you're planning to do. You want to do austerities, and I know why you're doing all of this. So, because Lord Shiva is aware of the whole thing. And then he says that I will give you a prayer or a mantra or a song, which you carefully listen when I recite it. And then you people then recite it, and then continuously. So that will please the Lord. So this is how the instructions of Lord Shiva is coming on to the prachetas. Now, we know, contrast this to the nature of the father, that is Prachina Barhi. He was he was kind of attached or addicted to the fruitive activities and the results and all of that, which was actually disapproved by Narada. But the sons are very different. So they understand, and then they start their life, or the story of prachetas is starting with austerities. Whereas the story of Prachina Barhi was not starting with austerities. It was starting with enjoyment of the senses and carrying out various sacrifices, basically to ensure that all good things happen to the king. So that's the contrast that we see here. And then, because of this contrast, Vidura actually wanted to hear about the sons of Prachina Barhi. He was very inquisitive, actually, Vidura. And he wanted to know I mean, here you have a situation where they have already pleased the Lord. The Lord has given them audience, and then he is very happy with it. Now, after this, what happens? So that is what he wants to know. Who? Vidura. Vidura says that they achieved perfection because they have seen the Lord. So that means they have achieved perfection. That the word siddhim apuhu is very important here in this particular verse. This is the last line. It says siddhim apuhu prathoshya kam. Having satisfied calm, what did they do? So because they recited the Rudra Gita, that is Te Rudra Gitena Harim Siddhim Apnuhu Prathoshya Kam. So he wanted to know what they did. I mean, how? Because they have already achieved perfection. So then what next for them? What happened? So for that, if you look at the purport of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada actually is mentioning about what is perfection. So what do we mean by siddhi or perfection or achieving the highest perfection? We can, if you look at the shloka in Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada is quoting, 8.15, where he says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. So this paramam gataha means it is more the gati or the progress towards param or paramatma. That is param, or param is actually the Supreme Lord. So gataha means moving towards, or gati, that is moving there. So this siddhi is actually paramam gataha or paramagati. So that is reaching or moving towards the Supreme Lord is perfection of our lives. That is what it is being told here. What does it mean? In the meaning also you can see that after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. The highest perfection is attaining the Lord, and the great souls will do. So this is how then Prabhupada is saying that when you have already had the darshan of the Lord, when the Lord is benedicting you by his vision or his form, he is showing himself up, and then he is pleased with your activities, then what happened? He wants to know that. So this is how the conversation starts. Then if we look at the next verse, there, I mean, and then here the word was paramagatim, which is perfection. So we saw that. And then in the next verse, Barhaspatyeha, that means the disciple of Brihaspati, that is Maitreya, Rishi Maitreya, he is being addressed like that. So he is continuing with the question, Vidura, where he is saying that I know for sure, because Vidura is also a very enlightened personality. So he understands that they have had the darshan of the Lord, which means that anyway liberation is already bestowed to them. So that means that they have achieved what they set out to achieve, which is, I mean, any living entity in the material world, the ultimate achievement is liberation or going to Goloka. So this anyway they have already. He knows that thing is set for them. It is like they've already secured admission in a particular college, like say Harvard or whatever. So that is done. But in the meanwhile, before they move there, he knows that they spend their life in the material world, or maybe life or lives. I don't know what happened. So please narrate, what did they achieve in the material world before they moved on to the spiritual world? Because I know for sure that they have moved on to the spiritual world. But apart from that, what did they obtain within the material world? So this is how he is questioning Maitreya Rishi. Now, Prabhupada actually takes us a kind of a pause, and then he explains about the material world and then the spiritual world and the hierarchy that is there. So one needs to understand this, because there are two things that we are looking at. One is the ultimate goal, and then which is the siddhi, which is paramagati, and then the various processes that are there, which is how the material world is created. So in this, then the personality of Lord Shiva is also there, because Lord Shiva, we all know, and Vidura also knows, is a bestower of material benedictions. So this we know. I mean, this is something that even Vidura also knew. So he is somebody who's actually known for bestowing material benedictions. And he is somebody who's easily pleased, Ashutosh. So we know that most of the people who want something materially, who are not so spiritually inclined, who don't want to be serving the Lord, who still want to continue their enjoyment, or they want to enjoy more and more in the material world, they are the ones who will actually go, and for that they need some special powers or some special privileges or whatever. Then they will turn to Lord Shiva because he is easily pleased. So, so that is how the scheme of things are in the material world, which we are aware of. Vidura is also aware of. So, because Lord Shiva is involved, then he is asking, what happened to them? That's a very wonderful question. And then we also see how Prabhupada actually is explaining the position of Lord Shiva in the purport, in the purport. So he is talking about the various steps that are there. So he takes, like, it takes many birds, or it is not that everybody will come to the platform of this thing, Bahunam Janmanamante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. So like that, very few people will come to the point of Vasudeva Sarvamiti or accepting the Lord. So these are some of the things that he is explaining. Who's explaining? I mean, Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. Okay. And then Prabhupada also is saying how these various arrangements are there, so that people will be able to move up step by step. The ultimate one is the Paramagati, which is attaining the lotus feet of the Lord. But to reach there, it is very difficult because we've got so many desires within us. Especially when we came to this material world, we are full of desires. And then the Lord has actually given us an opportunity to enjoy those desires that are there, to fulfill those desires. He's giving us an opportunity. And he's given us an opportunity how? With so many options. Those options are like how many? 8.4 million species of life. So each of these lives we go through step by step, one after another, from small organisms, aquatics, then territorial means in the land, and in the land also then plants, insects, smaller ones, then the bigger ones like the four-legged ones, the carnivores, the entire animal kingdom. This is plant kingdom, aquatics, plant, then animal, and all of that. So totally there are around 8.4 million species of life. And then finally we come to the stage of a human life. And in human life also there are 400,000 or 4 lakh types of human beings. And that is, again, Prabhupada has explained how it is the nature. So the influence of the 3 modes of nature is there. Because animals and plants largely is about ignorance only. But then when you come to the human form, then the 3 modes begin to act. So that the modes are Sattva, Rajo, and Tamo. So in the Sattva Gun, there are these certain qualities we exhibit, Rajo Gun, certain other qualities, and Tamo Gun. And then we know that we will have to decrease our Tamo Gun or eliminate it completely, and then decrease our Rajo Gun or use it only when it is needed in the service of the Lord. So channelizing it, controlling it, and then come to the platform of Sattva Gun, so that from there then we will be able to transcend these 3 gunas and then move on to Shuddha Sattva. So this is the journey that one has to make. So Prabhupada actually is explaining these, and then this is all something that we are aware of. And now Prabhupada goes on to say how activities that we do will determine our next destination. And there are these activities, when we do pious activities, then we know we get higher births. So Prabhupada actually is saying that we know that if we do our, and then the system of Varnashrama also is there in the human being, for the human beings. So only for the human beings, this Varnashrama is there. Varnashrama is actually an evolutionary process. So all human beings, I mean, just a human birth is not enough. it is like getting into the college. But then one has to go through the process of college, means like progression in the college, like say first year, second year, third year, project work, whatever, all of that. And then finally, then you graduate and come out. So in that way, the evolutionary process of Varnashrama, you've got the Shudras, then you've got the Vaishyas, then you have the Kshatriyas, and then the Brahmanas. So, and then each of them over a period, like, based on if you're born with a certain, like a Kshatriya or a Shudra, then you're supposed to carry out the activities that are relevant for that particular Varna, and also activities that are particular for a ashram. So, when a person is doing this, then what happens is it actually elevates us. It takes us to the next higher, to the next higher, to the next higher. So come to the platform of Brahma, and from Brahma then you transcend and then get into Shuddha Sattva, and then you become a Vaishnava. So this is how the evolutionary process is there, which we all know, and then we know why it is there, and then we understand how one has to take the help of this to move up. And that was the order of the day in those days. And so that is being explained. And then we also see how the Prachetas have already moved ahead in their progress, and then they have attained the perfection, which is Paramagati, or attaining the lotus feet of the Lord. So now, attaining the lotus feet of the Lord gives his darshan because he is pleased by the Prachetas. Now, so one more thing is, we will have to work in such a way that we need to please the Lord. And that is another aspect that we are aware of. We should be aware of. Now, pleasing the Lord means what? Then again, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this verse, Ataprumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasa. And then Atatpumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasa Swanishtithasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Hari Toshanam. So Hari Toshanam means satisfying the Lord. For that, what we have to do, we'll have to follow the dharma that is particular, dharma that is there based on our Varna, Varnashrama Vibhagasa. There is this Vibhaga done, and then based on whatever Varna you are in, you carry out your dharma. That will please the Lord. And that is what is the message that is being communicated by Srila Prabhupada in these purports. Then, when that happens, that becomes the highest goal or the highest perfection that one can achieve in the human form. If we don't do that, then we are going to go down further. So we will not be allowed to progress. So this is how our evolutionary path is unfolded, and then it kept for all of us, so that we are able to transcend and then come out of this material world. But then, for us to do this, if you look at that particular verse where in the third verse, verse number 3, he says, what did the Prachetas do? They actually offered prayers to the Lord, and then they pleased the Lord. So austerities they did. What was the austerity that they did? With proper knowledge, under the guidance of Lord Shiva himself, who's a topmost Vaishnava. So under his guidance, based on his instructions, they completely surrendered. They went inside the water because they didn't want to be disturbed on the land. So underwater they went, and then they did meditation of the Lord, recitation of this prayer that they heard from Lord Shiva. All the 10 of them continuously did this, and that pleased the Lord, and then the Lord gives them darshan. So this is what we are seeing in these particular verses. Now, Prabhupada actually is talking about how repeating the prayer. See, prayers, we all know that we'll have to pray to the Lord. So we understand. So we are souls, we are not this body. We also know the philosophy that we need the Lord's mercy, and then we can't achieve anything on our own. So when we are aware of all of this, we know that we will have to make an offer or a prayer to the Lord so that we will be able to execute our duties, what is expected of us in a proper way. Now, these prayers also, our acharyas have said, they are, what is a prayer actually? Prayer is actually glorifying the Lord, number one. Number two is thanking the Lord for whatever we have got. That also can, I mean, in the form of a prayer, it can happen. Or otherwise, we are begging forgiveness for whatever we have done, so we would have done some mistake, so we are begging forgiveness. Or we make a request saying that, oh Lord, if you so please, if it pleases you, then I would like to have this or whatever. So there's a certain way in which we do this. So these are the four activities that we generally do in a prayer. One is glorify the Lord, or otherwise thank the Lord, or beg forgiveness, or make a request. So now, when we are doing this and then offer our prayers, yes, no doubt the Lord will listen. But our acharyas and in Srimad Bhagavatam, what it is highlighting is that these prayers, instead of offering our own prayers, if we offer the prayers of pure devotees of the Lord, that pleases the Lord even more or more quickly. See what happens, like now in the Bhagavatam, there are so many prayers. What we are seeing right now is Rudra Geetam. So that is the song of Rudradev himself or Lord Shiva. So the Prachetas took that and then they just repeated it and then they made their life perfect. Now we have Kunti Maharani prayers, then we have Gajendra Moksha prayers, then we have Brahma Samhita, that is the prayers made by Lord Brahma. So like this, there are many prayers that each of these devotees of the Lord have recited for the pleasure of the Lord. And when a person who is following, if he repeats those, then the Lord is pleased. I was hearing in one of the lectures, they were saying that instead of just calling out, making your own prayer, if you recite the prayer of this thing, then when the Lord is hearing it, he becomes more alert. He says, wait, this is actually, if we are reciting Gajendra Moksha prayers, then the Lord will think, oh, wait, this is Gajendra's prayers. Oh, somebody is reciting it. Who is reciting it? And then he'll want to take a look. So like that, or Prahlad's stuti, like, how he prayed. And then if that is being repeated, then he will like to see, because the Lord is reminded of the devotee, whether that is Prahlad or Gajendra or Kunti Maharani or Lord Shiva here, or I mean, any whosoever's prayer we are reciting, the Lord is reminded of them. And then he wants to see who is it that is reciting this particular prayer. And then he takes a note of us. So through the pure devotee, we get noticed by the Lord by reciting their prayers. And that is what is coming out in the third verse. And there, the example that is given is of Brahma Samhita. So in Brahma Samhita, then there are various verses, so we all know that. So if you look at, since Lord Shiva is also part of this particular discussion, or he is also one of the personalities who is helping the Prachetas to attain Godhead. So here we can see those verses which are actually reflecting or talking about the position of Lord Shiva. So in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is seeing, and then he is spontaneously, he comes out with his prayers. And that is actually glorifying the Lord. So there in the Brahma Samhita 43rd verse, he says, Golokanam ninajadham nitale chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridham Suteshu Teshu Te Prabhava Nichaya Vihitaschayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So there it says, it is again talking about the various gradations that are there. So here, we spoke of the 8.4 million species of life. And then we also spoke of the human being. And in human being, there is 400,000. Out of that 400,000, then there are also gradations there. Now, whoever is following the Varnashrama for 100 births, then they have an opportunity to go to Brahma or become the next Brahma. So there is an elevation that happens they get elevated to that position. Now, it is also said that if you don't do, I mean, if you go beyond this 100 path, then you have an opportunity to go to Mahesh Dham, or the abode of Lord Shiva, which is actually in between the material world and the spiritual world. Or we can say half of it is in the material world and half of it is in the spiritual world. And that is what is being told by Lord Brahma in these verses. There are around 3-4 verses of Brahma Samhita. So the next verse says how Shushti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Cha Eva Yasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Ichhanurupamapi Yasya Cha Cheshtate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So there again, the position of Devi Dham and then Mahesh Dham, and how from one then you move on to the other is being explained. So we are actually reciting Lord Brahma's prayers, but then we are actually praising the Lord through the creation or the manifestation, or how mercifully he has created these things for us so that we will be able to move up towards him. And also Lord Shiva's position is also understood by in these prayers, Kshiram yatha dadi vikhara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahi tata pratagasti hetu yashambhutam api tata samupaiti karya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami, where it says that just as milk is transferred into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, that is milk, so I adore the primeval Lord, of whom the state of Shambhu, that is Lord Shiva, is a transformation for the performance of work of destruction. So the comparison of Lord Shiva is to the curd and Lord Govinda is to the milk. So from milk curd comes. So like that, from Lord Govinda we have Lord Shiva, but from curd you can't get back milk, which means that you can't, the reverse is not possible. So this is a very special kind of an expansion of the Lord. That is Lord Shiva, and his position is very, very exalted. So when we understand the position of various demigods through these prayers, our knowledge increases, and at the same time, because we are reciting the prayers of a devotee of the Lord notices us. So we get a double benefit here whenever we are reciting such prayers, and that is why it is always encouraged that if somebody is by-hearting certain verses, certain shlokas, certain prayers, then they are always encouraged. And then there is also this recitation that happens, and that recitation actually pleases the Lord more. In fact, if you look at Nectar of Devotion also, the same thing is being mentioned there. In Nectar of Devotion, what are the things that are favorable for executing devotional service? So in that we see this verse number 3, it says, Utsaha nischaya dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangathyaga sato vruddhe sadhir bhakti usidati. So sadhir means these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So what is that in that 6? The one that we need to be taking note of course, all 6 are important, but then for today's discussion, the word sato vruddhe, or sat means sata means a great person, an acharya or a Vaishnava, or a disciple of the Lord, or a devotee of the Lord. And vruddhe means following in the footsteps. So sato vruddhe means following the previous acharyas in their footsteps, that is following the Guru Parampara, or all the way up to Lord Brahma. So following the Guru Parampara is very, very important. So this is how then we realize that when we follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, when we recite their prayers, then the Lord becomes very happy, or it pleases the Lord more. And then he immediately, and the benediction for us becomes quicker. So this is what Prabhupada is trying to bring out in the various verses. And then if you look at verse 3, there is another word that we need to be aware of, because in the verse 3, what does Maitreya is saying? That they were able to satisfy the Lord, that is Lord Vishnu, by repeating the mantras given by Lord Shiva. And that is what we saw the explanation of how it is important. But then there is this word that is there coming in this verse, which is called as Puranjanam. So Puranjanam Atho Sayan. So this, what does this mean? This means here Prabhupada is saying Puranjana means Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, after listening to the story of Puranjana, then we come across this verse here, in which Prabhupada is translating as Puranjana as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how do we reconcile this? Anybody wants to try? How can we reconcile this? Because Puranjana, we knew that it is referring to the soul, that is me, who is in the body. So that is how we saw in those stories that we saw previous, as told by Narada Muni. So that also has to be true. But here Prabhupada is explaining it as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Somebody is saying something?
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji, I muted.
Okay. So how do we reconcile this Puranjana to what we've heard before?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Could it be the Supreme Enjoyer?
No, it says the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So he is, but why is this Puranjana referred to the Lord there? Of course, he is the enjoyer. That is correct.
He, as the Paramatma, is residing in each and everyone's heart, Prabhuji. So
Yeah.
ultimately, he is the Bhuktara of everything, of all the yagnas.
Yeah, that is correct. So I think you got it right from the see, what does Puranjana means? One who is in the Pura. Pura is the body, and Puranjana is one who is residing in the body. Now, who is residing in the body? Of course, the soul is residing in the body.
Sorry.
So we know that the soul is Puranjana. That's how we saw in the earlier story. Here in this verse, Prabhupada translates Puranjana as Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Puranjana can also denote Supreme Personality of Godhead, because we know that Paramatma is there in every living entity. So that entity, which is the Lord or Paramatma, is also a Puranjana, because the Paramatma is residing in the body, in the Pura. So Puranjana means one who's residing in the body. So it can be the soul as well as the super soul. So that is how we can reconcile this particular thing. Okay, anyway, so Prabhupada talks about various, how it is important to follow in the footsteps of Acharyas, recite their prayers, and then make our lives successful. So this is what we need to understand. And then, if you look at the last verse for today, what did they do? They did perform austerities for 10,000 years. So here Prabhupada again is explaining about how in the days, he says it is on those, it's another era altogether, another yuga, in the Satya Yuga, Dwapara, Treta Yuga, and all is not the same as the current age of Kali. In those days, people lived for very long duration of time, and they had to do very long tapasya or austerity. So one aspect that we need to be aware of is any austerity we do, I mean, not necessarily 10,000 years austerity, but even small austerities that we do, we fast for a day, we fast till 12 noon or whatever it is, though it is difficult, or Ekadasi fasting, anything you take, though it is difficult, but then once we are able to do it, and then then we get the benefit of it, like we know that we have done it, and then there is some, we understand that there is some sense of an achievement, and then we realize that it is because of the mercy of the Lord. So we become very thankful, and there is some joy or happiness that comes into us. This is the right type of joy or happiness, not the joy or the happiness that comes by saying I did it, not that way, but in this way that I just spoke now. So when we get that, then we forget all the difficulties that we went through, correct? Na? So that is how austerity works. Like any austerity you take, so at beginning it is difficult, but once we are done, I mean, once we are able to do it, then the prayojan that we get of that austerity makes us forget all of this. So what happened? They did austerities for 10,000 years under the water. And then the Lord appeared. After the Lord appeared, and then the Benedictus, they saw the Lord, and then they were so pleased that they forgot all the austerities or the difficulties that they went through. So this is the nature of austerity that we should be aware of. So though it might be difficult for us initially, but once we get the prayojan, then it is okay. And the second aspect is number of years. So number of years, again, Prabhupada gives, we know that Valmiki also the same thing. He meditated for 60,000 years and all that. So much of austerity he had to do before he became self-realized or God-realized. So in this way, before the benediction came. But then Prabhupada very rightly concludes by saying that for us in Kali Yuga, we've been given this mantra, which is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does something very different. See, if you look at the whole discussion of today, it has been the arrangement that has been put in by the Lord. It is a evolutionary process that we saw. We saw the aquatics, all of that. Like any soul that comes to the material world, the arrangement is such that you go through the 8.4 million species. Then after that, then you have to elevate yourself, make yourself higher and higher, come to the Sattva stage, and then from Sattva Guna stage, then you have to move, transcend and move to Shuddha Sattva. And then for that, then there is this Varnashrama. And in Varnashrama, if you have to enjoy, then there is this aspect of 100 births. Then you come to Brahma Loka, and then beyond that is Vishnu Loka. Then beyond that is actually Vaikuntha Loka. Now, we also know that Abhamma Bhuvana Loka. So Brahma Loka and below, there is always this repeat birth. Even, but then if you move to only Vaikuntha planets, only then there is no coming back. Otherwise, you will have to come back. So these are the evolutionary processes that we understand, and it is being told to us so clearly. So that is okay. But then being aware of all of this is one thing. We should also be aware that in Kali Yuga, all this is not possible because we don't have to wait that long, and we don't know what type of birth we will get, whether we'll get a higher birth, lower birth, even though Neha Vikramana Asti is there, where we will not, our devotion is protected. Whatever little we do, Swalpam Apis Dharmasya, it is protected, but still the degradation is so fast that you just delay a little bit and then you come, then the place is no longer conducive for us to do devotional service and move up. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this Maha Mantra, which is like a, what do you call, like a green channel. Like you don't have to go through all of this. It's like taking the elevator. Prabhupada gives that example where you don't have to go step by step, visit each floor, and then, see what is there and then move up. Don't do that. Come directly, take the lift to Goloka, and then come and, land at the lotus feet of the Lord directly by just taking on to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is so powerful that it can actually elevate us in one lifetime itself. You don't have to take so many births, so much that evolutionary process you don't have to do. You just chant and then you will get liberated. So when we chant, what we are doing, we are following Sato Vritti, following the Acharyas, because it has been given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are connected to the Parampara. So whatever our Acharyas have said, we are doing that. So we are following instructions. Then we are also, those 4 regulative principles are given to us. So there is austerity in it. Along with this, there is one thing that we will have to cultivate, and that is the aspect of humility. If you look at the story of the Prachetas, the only thing that will please the Lord is not this 10,000 years of austerity that they did. It is the cooperative mood in which they did this particular austerity. The brothers did not have any difference of opinion. They did not fight over. There was no jealousy. There was no such enmity or anything of that sort. They were all working together, and they all prayed together, and everybody got benedicted. So it is like the Lord mercy, it's not like it will get over, only I'll need it. I will overtake my brothers in standing in the queue for the Lord. No, it's not like that. So this is one aspect, which is cooperation, which comes out very clearly, and that is what our acharyas are telling us. And what is expected of us is to cooperate 100% with other devotees and then discharge our devotional service or devotional duty. Then another thing is humility. The aspect of humility is what pleases the Lord. Our acharyas very clearly explain. In fact, the Lord is called as Akinchana Gochara. Gochara is somebody who's easily available. He's easily available to somebody who is Akinchana, who doesn't have any desires. He's so humble And so much of humility is there that he doesn't want anything for himself, even a little bit of a recognition also he doesn't want. Akinchana, there is nothing, kinchit, not even a little desire for any of those things is there in that person. So such a person who is desireless with respect to his bodily, what do you call, bodily needs or bodily disposition, or with respect to the body, his desires are akinchana. There is nothing, no desires. So then the Lord becomes very favorable to them. So developing humility, we can develop humility only by understanding how insignificant we are. So somebody, like one of the scientists, he shows the entire universe, the vastness of the universe, millions and millions, and then so huge space. You drill down, come down, then you come to the small speck, which is Earth. And in that speck, then there is so many people are there, and then so many cities are there, so many countries are there if you come down into the Earth planet. And then in that, then there are so many buildings are there. In that, there are so many living entities. And in one of those buildings, and so many cities are there, so many countries, cities, you can go down that way and then you can realize that you are just nothing. Just one small, Earth itself is a small dot. In that small dot, then fraction and fraction and fraction of that dot. So it is like very insignificant. But we consider, or we put too much of importance to I, myself, me. And because of that, we get into complication. So having the right knowledge based on the Shastras, and then and what the Acharyas have said, and then when we realize how insignificant we are, humility will naturally come in. If we keep remembering who we are, then every word, every action, and every interaction that we have, there will always be humility, because we realize we are nothing. But then we don't have that knowledge. That is why they say Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So this humility or Vinaya comes in only with proper knowledge. And when there is no Vinaya coming in, then that is not Vidya, it becomes Avidya. So in this way, humility, the importance that is given to humility is very great, and we need to realize that. And humility is the only ornament that we can wear and nothing else, because once we realize who we are, then we will naturally become very humble. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Trinadapi sunichena tarureva sahishnuna. So like this, when we approach the Lord prayerfully, so, and humility, only when we are humble, then we can offer a prayer, like, because the prayer are of four things. What are they? Glorifying the Lord. But we sometimes, the Mayavadi philosophers, they say there's four things that I said. No, I'm just taking the first one, which is glorifying the Lord. Next one is thanking the Lord, or begging forgiveness, or making a request. Now, all these four has humility built into it, right? So glorifying the Lord, but then Mayavadi philosophers, generally the trend is like everybody thinks I am God. So if you are God, then where is glorifying of the Lord? So it is like self-glorification only. So that is why then that is again not possible to glorify the Lord. Or thanksgiving, you achieved something or you got something, you are not going to be thankful about it, because you will say that this is my right, I earned it. So when you have that kind of a disposition, then without humility, that is, then you will not be able to offer the prayer which will thank the Lord, or in the prayerful, in a thankful way, will not be able to pray to the Lord. Then begging forgiveness, even if you have made a mistake, you will not beg forgiveness, because you beg forgiveness from a higher authority, but you don't accept that higher authority. So where is this begging of forgiveness being figuring in? It doesn't come at all for a regular person. And making a request again. So they say like it is their birthright, whatever benefits are there. So where is the request being made? If you so desire, let me have this, or whatever. So that doesn't come at all, because it says, okay, for this I need to do this, so I know what to do. I know how to earn, I know how to take it, and then all of that. Or if somebody's mind is even more contaminated, by hook or crook, I know how to get it. So there's no request being made to the Lord. So prayer, the four constituents, which are glorifying the Lord, or thanking the Lord, or begging forgiveness, or making a request, doesn't figure in at all if we are not humble, if there is no humility, if we don't understand our position. So all these are connected: prayers, humbleness, following the acharyas. All these three are so wonderfully connected, and we see that the Lord becomes pleased by such prayers of the Lord, especially the prayers of His dear devotees are being recited. Then the Lord takes notice of us, and then the mercy becomes more. And that is very wonderful example is the Prachetas, where they just repeated the prayers of Lord Shiva and they became directly, they came under the mercy of the Lord and they were given audience. And then after that, then what happens? How they were benedicted, all that we can see in the what instructions the Lord gave and then how they set about doing it, how they led their lives, the rest of their lives in the material world. And then, of course, then they moved to the Bhagavad Dham. How they, I mean, that anyway, the end we know. I mean, they moved, but then in between what happened? And then what qualities to cultivate which please the Lord. This is what we are seeing here. And Prabhupada in his purports brings out these aspects. So these are the things I just wanted to share with respect to these 4 shlokas. So we're almost time there now, 10:30. So in case we can stop here. In fact, there are many examples of prayers. Prahlad prayers also. Prahlad Maharaj begins his prayers by saying, I'm not having any qualification. I am a son of a demon. I belong to the Ugra Jata. That means I am belonging to the demon family. Whereas there are so many other elevated people who are not the demon family, who belong to good families, who are doing so many austerities. They all are like, still wanting to have the darshan of the Lord and then satisfy you. They are in a much better position to satisfy you than me, who's from Ugra Jat. I don't have any qualification. But then since I've been told that I should approach you, I'm approaching you. So that's the humility. He didn't go there. See, all of them, like Lord Brahma actually pushes him forward to go and then approach the Lord and then calm him down, right? So then he didn't become proud of that. See, among all these such elevated people, I've been given this task to go and then approach the Lord and then calm him down. So if we get that kind of a service, we'll be very proud of the whole thing. I mean, anything in those terms we get when we are given preference over others for doing something, then it is quite natural that we become proud. See, I am more qualified than them, kind of a thing, So, but then Prahlad Maharaj was not like that. He was still humble. He became more humble. He says like, I don't have any qualification, but then I've been told, I've been pushed, so I'm here. And then like that, his prayer starts like that. So starting the prayer with humility, keeping the humility, ending it with humility is the main thing. That is what we need to understand. That's what is coming out here. And all our acharyas have also said that. So when we are humble, then we are actually following the acharyas also. So whichever way you look at it, it is necessary for us to cultivate this humility. Humility is something that has to be cultivated because we don't have the proper knowledge. So by nature, we are very proud because of the false ego. So we need to cultivate it. We need to, like how we cultivate certain things, So we need to cultivate humility. And one of the ingredients for cultivating humility is proper knowledge. If you have the proper knowledge, then automatically humility will come. So proper knowledge means Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha Jnana means then we have to depend on the mercy of the Lord. So to have the Sambandha, we chant, we take the Lord's name, we hear his pastimes, we do some sevas to the deities, which is not different from him. And we serve, we please the devotees. So when we please the devotees, then the Lord is pleased. So like that, we touch everything with respect to the Lord. Then we are, we are in line, in direct line of the mercy that is flowing from the Lord. So thereby, then we will automatically become humble because we realize our position. So that's what I just wanted to say. Stop here. If there is any thought or any comments or any question, then please go ahead. We can take it forward.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Even Bhishma Stuti is also prayer, no, Prabhuji?
Yes,
That
yes,
also can be
Bhishma,
added?
yeah, yes, Mataji. Bhishma Dev's prayers also.
Yeah.
All the prayers of the devotees of the Lord are very pleasing to the Lord. Because it reminds the Lord of that devotee. So he sees, who's saying the prayer of Bhishma? And then they'll see, oh, you. So we get noticed through that devotee whose prayer we are reciting.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Krishnamurti Prabhu has a doubt, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. He is having a doubt. Prabhuji, you can go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to you,
Prabhuji. So
yes,
I myself, today is the right time to submit my obeisances to Ashish Prabhu and ICF team to restart the Zoom meetings. So as because last 15 days we are not able to hear the classes regularly flow. So I request Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, let him grace and bless the Achintya Prabhu and his team. Let them be always in Krishna conscious to serve us, to be in Krishna conscious. We must be in conscious of Krishna consciousness. So I myself request your kind self also, Prabhuji. If this forum is not there, we can't able to hear the sweet words of your senior devotees. And we will forget everything. So that Kala has its own energy, strength. So it will forget us. So, Prabhuji, especially by hearing today's class, so regarding the prayers, what were done by the previous senior devotees. So, if we pray them, if we recite them, automatically we will get the mercy of Supreme Lord. So, what we were doing, so knowingly or unknowingly we were doing that. I am doing. So, thing is, after hearing this, so I felt, so I am in right path.
Yes.
So I am grateful to you, Prabhuji. Or otherwise, we will forget everything, Prabhuji.
Correct.
So this is my only request. So I am requesting the you like senior devotees come often and often to make us be in Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
This is
Prabhu.
my humble request, Prabhuji. And then please convey my heartful congratulations and wishes to this Ashish Prabhu and his family and this team. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. So I think you spoke on behalf of everybody, and I understand where you're coming from. I think we are all having the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is whom we need to be grateful of to. And because we take our strength, we draw our strength from Srila Prabhupada and his teachings through his disciples or directly, however, and all that. And then the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire parampara is flowing through, and then each time it comes down, it is getting added, and then it is coming down. So Prabhupada, whatever is coming from there, Prabhupada added more and then brought it down. Then the subsequent acharyas in the line have added more and then they're giving it to us. So like this, it goes on. So we get a lot of benefit. So this is how we need to always remember Srila Prabhupada, and then it will be properly, we are properly situated then. So we should always remember Prabhupada as long as we are in ISKCON, and then not as long, because we are in ISKCON, we should always remember Srila Prabhupada, and we should be very grateful, thankful to him. Being grateful and thankful is also a sign of humility. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing that. So wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sumangala
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes,
Hare
yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. You said that it is what that attracts the Lord, that is, we have to associate with each other. So, as Krishnamurti Prabhu said that we are very greatly indebted to Ashish Prabhu because giving us a chance to associate, even to associate, is a very great mercy, because he is giving us a chance to hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily, and we are ever grateful to him. So Prabhuji, and also that in the class, Prabhuji, I just wanted to know, like you guided us how to offer the prayers. Any personalities, great personalities, we have to take. So when we repeat their prayers, so does it mean that we are taking their mood, and or how it should? Is it that we should choose like that, Prabhuji, or anybody's prayers we can do? Hare Krishna.
No, anybody's prayers is okay because they are all the devotees of the Lord. And now all these, like I told you, what is this prayer? Prayer is involving only these four things, One is glorifying the Lord only. So in whatever mood they glorify, it is still glorifying the Lord only, right? So he looks at the bhava that is there is important, not how we are saying it, what words have we used or anything like that. Because glorifying the Lord or thanking the Lord or begging for forgiveness or making a request. Of course, making a request, we don't, like if you so desire, so that is there. But these are the prayers, generally are these things only. So none of them made any request. Even they said, like, if at all they made any request, they said, like what did Prahlad Maharaj say? He said, like, don't let there never be a situation where I will have any desire to want something or ask you something. I don't want that. That's the kind of benediction he asked for. He didn't want any benediction, but then if you at all you have to give, then still the Lord insisted. Then he said, okay, if that's the case, then you liberate my dad. Then he says, your father anyway is liberated because you are his son. So like that, there is nothing different that they are asking or anything. Their mood is that the Lord is supreme. That's all. If you drill down on the prayer, the mood and the bhav. So any prayer is equally potent because it is directed towards the Lord, and the Lord sees the what do you call the bhava in the prayer. He doesn't see the words or what you are saying or that. Lord is not happy because, oh, you're glorifying him, you're the head, you're the topmost. No, he's not doing that. He's looking at how you are positioning yourself correctly and then how you want to serve, and that is what pleases. So he looks at the bhava. Because the Lord doesn't need anything. Or do you think he is looking, he becomes happy because of our prayers? No. That is, there are Lakshmi Sahasra Satasamra Sevya Mana. What is that shloka? There are so many Lakshmis serving him. So many, I mean, Radharani's cooking. You think our cooking is any better or anywhere near Radharani's cooking? No. But then he still accepts it because even though we do it faultily, no consistency, and then the ingredients we get is also of not so great quality because it's all from the material world only. When all these faults are there, it's only the mood in which we do, and he only takes that. That is why he is bhavagrahi Janardana. So he sees the bhava and then he becomes pleased by that. So the prayers also, it is the mood that is important.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, because everybody, because each one will connect better with some shlokas, like Kunti Maharani shlokas.
Yes,
everybody
yes.
are scared to, I mean, even to recite because Vipada Santuta Shashvat. So she says that Vipada.
So you don't have to. See, they are looking at Vipada in a proper way, and that is why then she likes that. And if somebody is still not very comfortable reciting it, then don't recite it. Then there are others like Gajendra prayers. Gajendra, he remembered the prayers from his previous birth, actually, those verses. So like that, we can choose. So there is some choice he's giving us. So we can still choose and then do. Or otherwise, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also there. So yeah, any prayer can be recited.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
I
just have a
understand
doubt.
where you're coming from, Mataji. Sorry, I understand when you gave the example. So that is, yes, we have a choice. So he's given us the choice of so many kathas are there of Bhagavatam. Which katha we will keep listening to again and again. Ishta Devatas are also there. Some form of the Lord is more attractive. Somebody finds Narasimha more attractive. Somebody, even Ram and Krishna also. So Prabhupada vouched for all of that. Like he said, that's okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I just still find it very difficult to understand, like in what mode I am in. I mean, Sattva Guna or Rajas or Tamas. Rajas, we can understand that we become very passionate even to start or anything. But for me, it becomes very difficult, Prabhuji, like where I am in. Is it that the actions that are going to describe what, or the consciousness, Prabhuji, that which
the
Guna we are?
Consciousness, Mataji. Basically, the consciousness. And the very fact that I realize that I am in Tamoguna now means that I am actually thinking not in Tamoguna. A Tamogun person will not even know that he is in Tamoguna. I mean, or he is interacting in Tamoguna. You understand? A Rajogun also, that person doesn't realize that he is now very passionate, he is loud, he is very brash, he is very curt. All that he doesn't realize. But once we start realizing, oh, I'm being too loud here. Oh, so it's also quiet here. Maybe I should quieten down. Maybe I shouldn't speak like this. That itself means that we are actually trying to transgress that mode of Tamo or Rajo and come to Sattva Gun and then think from there. So the very fact that this thought came itself means that we are in Sattva Gun or we are trying to hold on to the Sattva Gun. So that way it is good, but we don't have to analyze so much for that. As long as we are in Sattva Gun, what it is, or we are always taking the Lord's, aligning ourselves to the Lord, then these gunas easily we'll be able to transcend. We'll automatically be in Sattva Gun. See that 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, I think you would have been, I mean, you're aware of that. So those 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, the conclusion they said is, after going through all of that, you don't have to develop each quality. Oh, now I have to become calm. Now I have to be this. Now I have to be a singer, a good cook. Nothing of that sort. It says that you become a devotee. I mean, like if you are with the Lord and then you start chanting and then you become a devotee, then automatically all these gunas will manifest. Like another example they give is the motherly qualities. You don't mother, oh, patience, so many qualities are there. A girl or a lady who's not yet become a mother might wonder, oh, I have to do all of this. But then the moment the child is born, automatically those things come off, isn't it? You don't have to be taught so much, tutored so much and all of that. Like it automatically comes. You know what to do next. So that thing is there. So like that, I mean, of course, you need some guidance and coaching, not that you don't need, but I'm just saying you can relate to it. So I'm just taking that example which our acharyas use. So the mother automatically will know what to do next. That she will realize the child is now hungry. All of that will fall in place, tuck, like. So like that, if we are devotees, then it will automatically taken care, your gunas, the Rajo and Tamo, and Sattva also. And we know where we are making mistake in Sattva, where we are becoming proud of our knowledge or our calmness or our quality that we have, which is a good quality. We will become proud in that. No, in Sattva Gun also we will be in. We can see traces of Tamo Gun because everything about Sattva Gun is not so great. It can make us very egoistic and self-centered also, right? Self-praise and all of that. So all these pitfalls we'll be able to identify very easily. So
thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving that example of my mother. So I can very much relate and understand. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class and reconnecting again us with the Srimad Bhagavatam teachings and guiding us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful to the forum and to you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dandat pranams from all of us. Hare Krishna. Shall we chant, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mahamantra thrice so that this continues always?
One more question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, sorry, Prabhuji. Padma Mataji has a doubt.
It's
There is
okay.
a question.
Just a very, Hare Krishna. Very short question, Prabhuji. Now these slokas in the Bhagavad Gita. Now see all these prayers which you said they are prayers for Krishna. What about the slokas in Bhagavad Gita? Can we consider them as prayers or? These are spoken by
Gita is
Krishna.
song of the god. So when we recite the song of the god, as it is told to Arjuna, that means that we are hearing from the Lord directly. Now. So either through the devotee or coming what the Lord has said or what the devotee of the Lord has said, it is still the same, isn't it? So Bhagavad Gita recitations also will give the same benefit from that perspective because we are trying to connect with the Lord. And then if we are able to understand what is being told there, we don't have any understanding of Bhagavad Gita just by those verses. So we need to understand the message given
by Krishna,
the Bhagavad Gita through the Acharya. So what they have said, how to see, like the Prabhupads, any of the Acharyas. So then we are following this thing. Na? Even Bhagavad Gita also, it is the same. So because when we say, yatamam prapaddanse tam tathaiva badami aham, so we know that, okay, Prabhupada's explanation is what coming to our mind. We don't understand yatamam prapaddante. We only understand what it means, what Prabhupada has said. So from that perspective, it is still aligned, you know.
Yeah, even Bhoktaram Yajna.
Yeah, all of that. Sometimes we'll have an opposite understanding. Then there is clarity given by the Acharya. So, and that clarity when we accept and then we keep that in our mind and then recite it in that mood, then I think that is also the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, for the clarity. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji.
Today's session.
Yes,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya eva cha patitānaṁ pāvanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo koti vaishnavadhanti ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Srimad Bhagavatam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Dandat pranams.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dandat
Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Shall I end the session, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. With your permission.